Hey there, my fellow notaries public. My name is Antoine, and I am a commissioned notary public in the state of Colorado. And I wanted to share my experience on how I was able to get my first loan signing as a certified loan signing agent. First, I will say that I was able to receive my education to become a certified loan or notary signing agent through Mark Will's program called the Loan Signing System. And so everybody's experience is different, and mine is a little different than the norm, or should I say the huge. When I got my first loan signing, it was actually on accident. And so, and what I mean is, I didn't fully realize that I was getting into a loan signing until I got to the location. And so, how I was able to get my loan signing, my first one, was actually while I was taking the course. During this process of taking the course to get certified through the loan signing system, I went ahead and got commissioned. And then I also knew what name I wanted to name my company during this process. And so I went ahead and registered the domain name from the domain registry. And so I have my website name, and I found a host to be able to create a website. And so during this process, I already had a domain or a website already placed. And from my education of marketing on the internet, I knew that SEO was going to play a big part in me being able to get business, even just as a notary. And so while I was working on my loan signing certification, I was still also trying to get business just doing general notary work. And so as I did this, I built my website. I was through the months as it was sitting there, as I was doing the training, I was developing or establishing a website or web presence. And so I was getting SEO, which means search engine optimization ranking, through the internet system. And so, people would type in notary or whatnot, and that's how they, would come upon my website. And so once I finally activated it, I started to get calls, just from the website, just from me making my website and people searching in the search engines. And I would get calls to do general notary work, before I was able to finish my certification. And so one day, a lady called me and she was asking, if I was a notary. And I was like, yeah, I sure am. She was like, I was wondering if you can help me, um, help me get some documents notarized for my house. And that's how she had worded it. And I was like, yeah, sure. And me, I'm not fully experienced as far as what to actually say to a general notary appointment. I was just like, yeah, sure. Is it power of attorneys or anything? And she was like, I don't think so, but it's for my house, and I'm at the hospital because. And she went into the story of why she was at the hospital. Her husband was actually on life support, and she was like, I'm here, and I just need to get these documents signed for my home. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. And then we set the time, and then I was like, all right, perfect. And so I went to it was earlier in the day, and they called, and then we set the time. And so I went ahead and called her a little later on because I had gotten another appointment for general notary work before I met with them. So we set the time, and then I called her again, just to confirm, the location. I do know to do that. And so I'm like, yeah, so I'm gonna be headed there, and we're still on. And she was like, yeah, sure, we're on. I still need this done. And then I was like, all right, awesome. And I was like, so what exactly is it that you're needing with your home? She was like, well, I have these documents because I need to purchase my home, and I just have these documents that the title company told me to call someone because I'm in a whole different city. She was from Durango, and she was up here in Aurora, Colorado, at the University Hospital on Colfax. And so because that was the best place for treatment for her husband, and so she was in a whole nother region. And so it finally clicked in my brain what was happening. As I'm calling, I was like, so is this a like for a loan? She was like, yeah, it's for a loan, and yeah, I just need to get it all stamped and notarized and some documents. And I was like, oh, okay. And so by this point, I had already confirmed, and she was explaining to me that she was not able to get any notaries while they were searching to do this. And so she was like, I was the only one who was willing to do this right now. And I was just like, I was trying to figure out why. But at that moment, I wasn't going to back down, because I had never done a loan signing and I was not finished with the program. And so, I went there, met at the hospital, and I will tell you, this was my very first one. It took me about 2.5 hours to get through this loan process. And I felt bad kind of, because I know that they were kind of in a hurry. And so I got there, I believe it was like 2 something, and then they needed to drop it off by a certain time to get it FedExed. And so the lady's sister was there, and she was the one going to drop the documents off at FedEx. And she was telling me about the cutoff time, and I did not really understand what she was meaning by the deadline as far as before she can get it dropped off. I'm thinking like, oh no, then FedEx is going to be closing, but that wasn't what it meant. It meant the drop off time. So luckily, now later in my career, I understood as far as the drop off time that she had for the deadline for it to get sent out. And I thought I had missed it, this whole time, but then I later realized, like I'm talking months later after I'd already done this, that I was able to help them get the loan signed and dropped off at FedEx before the actual cutoff time for FedEx. And so I had finished at about 4 o'clock, and I got there 2 something, maybe closer to 2:30 or so. But yeah, it took a while. But I say all of that to say, there's more than one way, as they commonly say, to skin a cat. So if you're looking for a business, to acquire for as a loan signing agent, and the signing services are not constantly reaching out to you, or business is far and few between, so to say. One way is by establishing a website and gaining a web presence, and start to accrue yourself in the search engines. And then by this, you can begin to get leads just automatically. And so I get calls every week just on general notary work, just based off of general notary work. And then sometimes I'll get calls from title companies in different states, asking for me to be able to do their refinance or their closing or whatnot, just because of my website presence. And so that's one way that I was able to do. And I will say, the first time I did that loan closing, as she was the buyer, I was able to profit or earn. I'll say I earned $130 from doing that. And I felt as if I should not have charged $150 because it was my first time. But they asked, what is the going rate? And I told them, excuse me, I told them the going rate, and they were like, well, we would do it. And I just told them like, hey, you can give me such and such. But they went ahead and gave me that pay. And so there's more than one way to gain business if you are a loan signing agent. So yeah, that was one way that I had, and still have till this day. I have my own website, and I get calls from it every week for business. You can check it out. The description is in I'm sorry, I meant to say my link is in the description box underneath this video. So yeah, you guys can check it out. It's not the super greatest website, but it works. I get quite a bit of traffic each month, just headed toward that website. So I'm averaging at about 800 visitors a month right now through that website. And that doesn't mean, I'm getting 800, um, appointments set. That's just how many people are aware of my website and visit my website. And for whatever reason, I don't get the 800. Of course, you're not going to get 100% of all the traffic that comes to you. That's for sure. But I do want to be able to improve it. So go ahead, create you a website, get you a web presence, and start developing your SEO, your search engine optimization. That way, when people are searching for a notary, then you can also possibly be one who is called upon. Well, that was for today. I wanted to just share that, how I accidentally got my first loan signing. Take care.